Hey, welcome to the Rick Helps Real Estate live stream live from the Seattle, Washington area. I am in Woodinville, Washington. Pat is not able to make it today because he had a doctor's appointment he could not reschedule. So we will have him back on track next week. We will touch a little bit on lending today, but I'm up in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. My nephew is getting married in the morning. It should be a lot of fun, or getting married tomorrow afternoon. So forgive me there. But let's jump right into some numbers. Today we have 7,200 homes on the market. And I'm going to share the 7-day moving average here. Doing it on my laptop, so it gets a little clunky. But let's see if we can do this. So here we have, take a look at this. The number of listings are coming up, and the number of sales are coming up slightly, but there's the ever-growing gap here on listings versus contracts. As long as that continues, we are going to have some price increases, but not as much as what we've been seeing, because that gap is getting wider and wider. Now, specifically, we are seeing markets improve for sellers and improve for buyers and decline for sellers across the valley, except for the expensive homes up in the Northeast Valley, like Paradise Valley and Cave Creek and Scottsdale. The homes between 400 and 800,000 are turning more and more into a favorable market, and the above $1 million is still in favor for sellers. Yes, Richie, that's what we want to see. We want to see it get better. Cynthia, kind of sounds funny. Are you saying my audio kind of sounds funny? If that's the case, let me know. I can see if I can make a couple of adjustments. I've adjusted the mic down just a little bit here. See if that helps. We are still seeing an increase in listings and just a barely flat number when it comes to purchases. Cynthia says yes. Is it better now? Anybody, how's this? I just turned down the volume a little. It sounds just fine. Great. Thank you. Sounds good. I appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. So let me show you a couple quick things. One of the things that we're seeing is nationally. Nationally, there's a bit of a cooling going on, and I want to pull up an article here, so bear with me while I do this wonky share the screen on a laptop. You know, at home I have it all on the on my desktop, and it's pretty easy. On the mortgage rates and market data, what we're seeing here is that the rates for today are 2.9, yesterday 2.85. And what happened was the unemployment numbers came in really good today, or the job growth numbers. And so when the job growth numbers are strong, a strong economy means a weaker bond market. And that started to happen today, but slightly down. So we're going to stop sharing this again, jump into another screen here. And then we have tick tock. What I want to show you is some national stuff here. And this is from a Redfin chief economist. And he's saying home sellers increasingly having to lower their expectations. We've been talking about that for a couple of weeks. The transition to this new, slightly cooler phase of the housing market will happen unevenly depending on the location and the desirability of the home. We're seeing that in the Arizona market. If you're currently looking to buy a home, I recommend you do your research on how much attention the home is getting before you put in the offer. If you find a home without any other offers, you may be able to get in it below the list price with an inspection and financing contingencies intact. That's important. That's what I want to see go away very, very soon. That is this penchant towards having to waive inspections and have to put in appraisal contingencies. Those are the first things to go. The first thing to happen is that sellers' expectations have to be ramped back. And then the second thing that has to happen is as more inventory comes out there, we start seeing less and less that you have to throw at the house in order to get that. And we're seeing that, and I'm seeing that with some offers I've written recently. Now, occasionally you run into the house, you run into the neighborhood where the bidding war is inevitable and affordability becomes a problem. But I just had lunch with some old friends here in Bothell, which is next to Woodinville. And if you haven't ever been up here, you got to come. It's beautiful. It's 69 degrees today. It's just perfect. Their house is 2,400 square feet, $1.1 million. And you got to ask, where's the affordability up here? I don't think I could ever move home again. So in November, I don't want to move home again. So I've got some other stuff here to show you as well. And that is, let me check right here. On active listing counts in the Cromford market, we keep showing this. And we're still muddling along as week 31 at 6428. So we've caught up to some 2005 numbers already. There's always a lot of debate on what will cause a market to go down in value. You could have an economic calamity. You could have a banking crisis. You could have a debt crisis. You could have China collapse and it hurts our economy. All of those things that could happen, that might happen, that nobody really knows. If those things happen, this number changes, folks. It goes way up. When the economy gets really bad, people want to try and get the money out of their house as fast as they can. When this number goes way up, prices go way down. So we're looking for any indication that it's going to happen. That they're going up fast. We're not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing gradual increases in inventory, and I'm not seeing anything that says, holy cow, get out from underneath this housing market right away. That's what the numbers are showing me. I know that there's a lot of different opinions out there, and that's great. I'm only going to show numbers that are going to project out about 3 to 6 months. So in the next 3 months, with the inventory situation being where it is, your house will be worth more tomorrow than it is today. How much? We measure that at the end of the month. The other thing I like about the Northwest is their cool, fresh water out of the tap. The numbers right now are they're just, admit it. The house you're looking at today is going to be worth more tomorrow. But like that last article said, it says, let's see what I got a comment here I got to put up. You wound not doing a live stream outside Phoenix this time of year. Yeah, I'd be dripping in sweat, 114. So we're in a big Airbnb up here. There's all kinds of family. It's going to be an absolute blast. What I was saying was that when you're looking at the houses that are being listed, you need to look and say, how long has this been on the market? How does this price compare to everywhere else? Am I in a position where I can offer them less than their asking price? And the answer now is yes. If you see something that's been on the market for as little as 6 days, then take a chance and write a lower offer. You'll be surprised. We had one accepted. And it's getting to where some people are saying, it's really softening. We're going to have some trouble. I got to get out. I got to get out now, when that's really not the fact. Prices, the only prices that are falling are the asking prices. The closed prices are not falling. Cody says, that was hard for me moving to Arizona from Oregon. The taps back home were great. Yeah, and Oregon's got really good craft beer too. Flew over Oregon yesterday. It was nothing but smoke. Just nothing but smoke. We've got some rain up here today, but I don't think it made its way to Oregon. It needs to, because, man, everything's on fire. And you fly over California, and you see all these lakes, and you see the water level down. You see rivers just barely trickling. It is dry out here, my friends. If you're thinking of selling, is now a good time to sell? The short answer is yes. I think between now and November is going to continue to be an excellent time to put your house on the market. I think for buyers, I think the opportune time on what I'm seeing right now is going to be that October is going to be very good for you. Sit out August. Take a watch, take a peek at September, and use August and September as a time to get your ducks in a row. Pay down your credit if you need to. Get pre-qualified. Get ready to pull the trigger in October. Now, am I promising that your house is going to be worth more and more in 2022? I have no idea. I'm talking specifically about the easier time of getting into a house will be October, because you won't have the bidding wars. You're not going to have to overshoot on the price and then cover it with an appraisal gap, and you won't be foregoing any inspections. Had one I'm working on now, and the agent, and we needed some negotiation. The roof was bad, and the agent was trying to convince me that they had multiple offers that were coming in, and I was trying to get a higher contribution on the roof repair. And I said, that roof repair is going to follow you. Less and less people are waiving inspections now because they're starting to feel a softening in the market. And guess what? They met our terms. So there's a lot of back and forth going on there that's getting a lot easier for you, the buyers, and you're still in the driver's seat as a seller. It depends on your neighborhood, depends on your price point. But buyers, load your guns, get ready for October. Running at altitude, you typically see more home sale activity in the fall and winter months in Phoenix. Typically, what months are best to buy? I went over that a couple days ago in a video, and the only trends I see is that May seems to be the time when more contracts are written than any other time of the year, and then a little higher in a little lower in July, and a little lower in August. Now, it used to be the seasonality. Let me put your question up again. Do I see more sale activity in the fall and winter months in Phoenix? No, it used to be that the most listings we have come on board are in January, with the most price reductions in February, because after the holidays, everybody feels now's the time to put my house on the market. They put it out there and they're very optimistic. And then in February, they had to reel them back. All of that seasonality is gone now. This is our first pandemic, so we really don't know how we're going to land. What we are seeing, and we've seen 2 years in a row now, was May was a very strong month, probably because they're going to get out of school in June. So they sell their house in May, they move in June. Summertime is still very strong in Arizona. November and December are very slow. But it's also a good time in the holidays to list your home, because the people that are looking around Christmas week and even Thanksgiving, they're serious. They're looking because they have to move or they want to move, and you have less competition. There's less listings. Question here: is it a good idea to buy a home if market crash? Will Phoenix prices come down compared to nationwide? You know, a good time to buy a home is when you need a home and you like the payment. If you're treating it like a stock, I have no idea. I've seen one crash in my lifetime, and that was 2008. I've ridden a lot of ups and downs, up 10, up 20, down 10, down 5. But the real crash, down 40 to 50%, happened once in my lifetime. So I'm nervous to say, yes, prices will come down. One of these days we'll have a crash and you can buy. But if you find a home that fits in your personal payment budget with a fixed rate, not an adjustable rate that made people crash in 2008, but a fixed rate, and you can live with that, get the house. Because one of the other dangerous things about a crash is you're probably going to be unemployed. Because if there's a huge economic calamity, then you have a whole other host of problems versus worrying about whether or not you got a good price on your house. There's also chatter that says, what kind of bullets are in the gun for the government if we do have another crash? And one of the things that's an option out there, don't know if they'll ever do it, but if the economy just goes to hell in a handbasket and everybody's house is worth just a dismal fraction of the amount of what they pay for it, they do have an option called mark to market, where all notes get redrawn and the value of your house, instead of it being $600,000, is now $400,000. They rewrite it. They write you a note for $400,000. It's called mark to market. And that was offered up during the 2008 crisis by Mitt Romney. It was wildly ignored. Now people are looking at it and kind of taking it a little more seriously if something were to happen, but we're not seeing anything yet on the horizon that shows us that that's coming. So I really don't want us to treat housing as a stock. I'd like us to treat housing as, where can you afford to live and can you afford the payment? Because, who'd have thought right now in August the rates would still be below 3%, because they were going up and everybody thought they were going to settle about 3.5, and now we're sitting at between 2.8 and 2.9. So we couldn't even get that part right, let alone being able to guess anything else that's going to happen out there. So it's a wild, wild market. It's, I want to say, calming down just from the perspective of, because there's more listings, you don't feel as anxious. The buyer traffic is still right where it's been. If you recall, looking at this podcast for a long time, we were showing 4,200 units came on, 4,200 went under contract, week after week after week. And Pat and I would say, I'll bet this is getting boring. 4,200 on, 4,200 off. Now we're seeing 4,200 on, 3,800 under contract consistently every 7 days. So inventory continues to grow anywhere from 300 to 500 homes on a weekly basis. That takes pressure off of buyers. That is comforting. How long is this going to stay? I don't know. Let's say we get into October and we've still got low rates and the inventory has gone up, and the anxiety that we're feeling right now with the virus resurging, and that tamps off, we could have a yo-yo market. We could have buyers just jump right back in again, and the whole thing kind of cycles back again. We could have a yo-yo. Nothing ever happens in a straight line except for 2020. And so somebody wants to know, I mentioned Pat. Where's Cardboard Pat? Tyler, he never made it to the luggage. I thought about bringing him up here. I had a stick. I looked. I thought he'll never make the trip. It's kind of like Where's Waldo, or that whatever that game is where you ship something all over the country. But I will keep Cardboard Pat in mind for future ones. So thank you so much for your advice. So I appreciate it anytime. I think watch September numbers very closely. August right now, we know it's just going to stay between 300 and 500 units. August is a month where sellers are starting to adjust, but barely. They're just starting to recognize the real world and reality. That should not come crashing down, but there'll be more agents now in September telling their clients, hey, look, you're actually better off pricing a little bit at the market or below than you are above, because you're going to be blatantly ignored if you're too high. And if you're too low, people will bid you up, especially if you're in a nice neighborhood. So September could be just a wait and see month. Wait, you got a realtor telling you not to buy in September. That's correct. I'm telling you to wait. Wait and see what's going on, because it's not going to go flying up. You're not going to miss anything. It's not going to come crashing down where you miss an opportunity, but it's going to give you a feel for what October is going to look like. So if you use that month to get pre-qualified and get ready in October, right now we're sitting at 7,200 homes. If we end up at this track and we end up like 9,600 or 10,000 homes in October, great time to go out looking. Instead of going out and only find 2 homes in your market, in your area that you're interested in, you're going to find 10. And that's going to be great. And you may have a bidding war, and there might be 2 people bidding. It's a lot easier to compete in that. And I'm sensing from some of the offers that I have written that people are starting to listen, and they used to be able to puff their chest out and say, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. Now they have to sit around the kitchen table and go, it's a good solid offer. We might have to make adjustments to keep this thing going. And I'm seeing it now, and it's going to continue well into Christmas. Do you know if there'll be any larger home sites coming on the market in Queen Creek? It seems they are small lots. That's a tough one to guess. Whenever the market is really brisk, these builders go in and put 10 houses in where there should only be 5. 0 lot lines. Hug them right up to the freeway. Saw that a lot in Las Vegas during the last boom. They just packed them in like sardines. I can't stand those kind of building developments where your next door neighbors, like 10 feet from you. Logic would tell you, yes, they'll have to start building bigger lots, but they tend to buy these things out and plot them out at least a year and a half advance of swinging the first hammer. So are we going to see any improvements in that this year? I kind of doubt it. I think we're going to have to wait that one out, and it's going to have to soften up so they can offer a better product, i.e. bigger lots. We're not seeing that right now. So it's tough one to call, but who knows what it's going to be like after January. I know that this summer, I think buyers, you're starting to approach great opportunity for you. Sellers, all I'm saying is just don't price, just don't get out of control, and you'll be fine. So I will see everybody on Monday morning. Thanks for joining me in this beautiful day out here. And we're going to have a little barbecue this afternoon. I'm in a great, big, huge Airbnb, having a great time, much needed little trip. Talk to you soon. See you next week.